What's happening, guys? So Nate back here, and today I'm going to tell you a story of how I was almost sued. All of that coming up right now. Guys, so there was this time, right, where, well, not this time, but it did happen like a couple of years ago, where I was running my online e-com store, I was running my print-on-demand business, and I've told you before in a previous video where I was behind on customer service. I was just getting started. I'm doing a lot of orders a day, like 500-600 orders per day with my store. Things were rocking and rolling, but the problem is I was behind on customer service. I was behind on a lot of things because the only thing I was focused on was getting orders out the door, And so everything, I didn't have a big team in place. A lot of things were like, when it was a brand new business, a brand new thing, and everything was just trying to get streamlined, trying to figure out everything, and running 100 miles an hour nonstop. And because you don't want, if you're selling well, you don't want to slow down. You want to make sure that you keep the momentum going, because you don't know if that momentum ever will come back. So you're like, I can't slow down. I got to keep the ads running. I got to keep selling at the same pace. Let's just figure out everything else, all the issues. So I have a real address in the United States. Even though I live over the seas, I have a real business address in the United States, and I get all my mail, my business mail, forward it to that address. And I don't check it all the time, but the people at that address, they open my mail, they scan it, and they upload it into an online cloud where I can read my mail. And most of the time it's just bank statements and random stuff that gets sent there, and I mostly ignore it. I check like one time a month or something, right? Well, there was a period where I was so busy with everything else, I wasn't checking anything. And I realized that I was getting, well, at a certain point, something happened where parents' address got a letter. The parents' address got a letter from the company that, like, they are the emergency contact or whatever. So if something happens, the company that I paid to scan my mail sent a letter and a couple phone calls, but my phone was dead. My phone was turned off because I live overseas, so nobody could reach it. But they sent a letter to my backup address, which was my parents' house, and that letter says, hey, you got some very important mail you need to open and look at really soon. And so my parents told me about that letter, and I was like, well, that's interesting, let me look. So I logged into my scanned mail, right? I pay for this service, and I find some very, very interesting letters. The first one was an inquiry into my business, right, from the Consumer Protection Agency. They wanted some information, and I kind of like, what's this? And this letter came, I don't know, like 2 months prior. So I didn't see the letter at all. I was whatever. And then the more recent letter was, hey, we are subpoenaing you. They gave me a subpoena through the mail because I live overseas. They can't find me, so they gave me a subpoena through the mail, which apparently is possible. I don't know. I thought you have to serve someone in person, like hand them the thing, but I guess not. So they gave me a subpoena through the mail that I have to hand over all of my, all my customer records, all my email database, all my customer phone numbers, addresses, all my products, all my Facebook page information, all my chat history, every email I've ever sent, like everything about the business. They subpoenaed me for all of that information. And so I was like, what is this? Who is this? Who wants this information? Why is this happening? And it turns out that because I was so, this is the long story short. Because I was so behind on customer service, like somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 tickets behind, like 2 weeks behind on every single email, because we didn't have enough staff, and we're getting so many orders a day, so many inquiries a day, everything is behind. So, and I didn't have anybody in place to monitor comments on ads or whatever. So what ended up happening was my company, some of my customers got together, like they talked to each other in my own ad comments and say, hey, is this are you being scammed? Yeah, I'm being scammed. I'm not getting my stuff. No answers. No, I can't get a refund. Not shipping me. They're not answering. Whatever. And they're like, yeah, it's been like 2 weeks and no responses or whatever. And then they are talking to each other about, hey, you know what? We think this company's a scam. And so what happened was there was 15 people that got together that talked to each other in my own ad comments, and they decided they want to file a class action lawsuit together. So they all later, I don't even know how they organized this, from people all over the world. Like we have people from the United Kingdom, people from Netherlands, people from the United States. The majority were from the United States, but like different parts of the country. They all got together and wrote and signed a class action lawsuit, hired a lawyer, and worked together to file a claim and try to sue me. And so what happened was, I'm not sure exactly how, like, I know I get complaints from the BBB or whatever, but they're not actually a government organization, so you can pretty much ignore all those and not do anything, because the 3BB doesn't mean much of anything. And so I get those complaints all the time, so I ignore that. But this was actually the Consumer Protection Agency, a government agency that goes and investigates businesses that they think are doing foul play. And so when I realized, hey, this is actually something serious, right? I got to actually do this. I mean, and I saw I saw the subpoena deadline at the right time, because the subpoena deadline was like 1 week more, and then they're going to actually, if I didn't respond to the subpoena, then they have actual reasonable incentive to, actually serve me papers, bring me to court, and actually sue me, like real sue me. And so got all the information. It took me like 5 days to get all the information that they wanted. I gave them like 30 gigabytes of archived emails that I downloaded into a folder. I gave them all of my history, all the orders and all this stuff. And then they pulled out specifically the 14 or 15 people that complained, that got together and did a class action lawsuit. They specifically referenced those 14 people, so I know exactly who were the people. And it was funny because it was all people from the year before. So I heard from Consumer Protection Agency sometime in November, December timeframe, but it was referencing March the previous year of all those customers, which it lined up exactly when I was struggling with my customer service issues, was in that March timeframe. I was behind. And so when I got caught up with all my customer service problems and all the delays, I was operating a completely legitimate normal business with real-time chat support. So now you guys know why I am so adamant about having real live full-time chat in my app, is because I know the importance of having real-time customer support. This is the reason why I have that, because I've learned from my past, never, ever, ever let things get behind. So real-time live chat in my app, 100% available all the time. So from this experience, how did this end up for me? Well, I gave everything they required by the deadline. They responded to I sent it through email with links to download files through Amazon S3 or whatever they can, because it's too much to send through an email. And I sent a physical letter to them with link to download, like, hey, go to this URL to download. And so I sent a physical mail and I emailed to make sure that they get the whatever they needed in time before the deadline. So they got it, they responded, says, okay, we will review. And then I wrote my own letter to reference and just tell them exactly why there's 14 people complain. Here's a description of exactly what happened and why people are not happy with my company. So I told her the full story. Hey, you referenced 14 people, but I have 176,000 customers. That ratio, is nothing. So if only 14 people out of 176,000 complain, I think I'm doing pretty well. But that's not the answer. The answer to your reference to all those 14 people was here in this document. And I documented exactly my conversation with all 14 people. And I documented that, hey, look at all these 14 were already refunded. They were just refunded 2 weeks after, because that's how far behind I was. And so 2 weeks after they got together and did some kind of complaint, or after their orders came in or whatever, I finally caught up on customer support and was able to reference each one of those things and show proof that, hey, these customers were already taken care of, were already refunded or resent, or the problem was resolved a year prior. So the order came in, right? I was behind on customer support tickets, and because I'm doing like 700 orders a day at that time, you're talking about all the 14 people getting together in my ads all at the same time and filing a complaint. But then that all happened at the same time, And then all those people that were actually complaining about whatever issue, I caught up and solved their issue or their complaint or want a refund or whatever like 2 weeks later, because that's how far behind I was. All of this mess happened in like a 2-week period, a year, not like a year from now before, but like 2 years ago, which this happened like, I got the complaint like a year ago. I got the subpoena like a year ago, and the actual complaints happened from a year before that. The moral of the story is I was almost sued. I gave all the stuff that I proved that everybody's being taken care of. I have live support. I have 176,000 customers at that time, and way more now. And 14 complaints is a low ratio. All the 14 people have been refunded. There's no issues. They were refunded within a timely time frame, right? Not like a year later. They were refunded within like a 2-3 week period max, all of the complaints. And so what happened with this subpoena, they dropped it because I had proof that, you know what, it's a waste of their time to go and look into or try to sue me when I have my shit together. Even though I didn't have my shit together during that 1 month period or whatever, when I was getting so many orders, I got my shit together after that and took care of all those issues and ever since then, the year after I was running my business, everything was in order and no complaints. So there was 0 complaints after that period, and all the complaints came in from like a 2-week or 3-week period the year before. So it was and the fact that they didn't hear any more complaints from customers no more, like they completely just dropped it, and I was never actually sued. But so close to being sued because I didn't see the letter, the physical mail in time. So that was a really, really close call on my behalf, but I'm glad that I was able to take care of it without having too much hassle. That would have been a big pain in the ass if I had to actually fly to the United States and go to court for something that was not actually, it was a little problem, a normal business problem, a problem that was solved by itself, but I know how bureaucracy works. If they really wanted to make an issue out of it, they could have made an issue out of it. So I'm happy that didn't happen. I'm relieved that passed without any major issues. So that's my story about almost getting sued. That's my little more story about my print-on-demand history. This business is, fun, full of adventure, ups and downs, and, all sorts of like crazy adventures. And now with my Shopify app, I have even more crazy adventures. Not like that, but like different manufacturing problems, getting things shipped in time, running out of stock on things, like totally different higher level problems. But every business has problems. Every business you have to solve and be a problem solver. And so, not everything's always perfect all the time. You just gotta be on top of things. And it takes hard work to make stuff happen. But I'm here, hopefully I'm providing a great service for you guys that use my app. If you haven't already, check it out, link in description. We just got brand new products. We have hooded blankets. Look at this Sherpa material. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. These are hooded blankets. Download my Shopify app, get selling these. This is amazing, I'm excited for that. So you guys, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys like my story time, and maybe I'll show you some cool designs that you can sell on these products. I'm gonna give you guys 15 designs when we launch. If you're watching this should be live very, very soon, within a day or two, or they're probably already live in the app. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and I will see you on the next video.